The mythical rules of Football Manager are said to be as old as time itself. Passed down from generation to generation, many see these sacred words as gospel. Of all of these rules though, one is placed on a plinth higher than the rest. Thou shalt not save and reload. But I'm here today to tell you that it's okay. It's okay to save and reload. Now first of all, anyone can play the game how they want to play it. If you want to save and reload before every single game to ensure you have a full season of wins, that's fine. If you enjoy it, do it. Just don't go posting on Twitter saying you're the greatest manager ever, because it's not quite legitimate. Instead, I think you can learn a lot and have more fun playing Football Manager, especially if you're new to the game, if on occasion you do save and reload. You see, most of us play Football Manager to escape real life and have some fun. Maybe you've had a bad day, you've struggled at work or in class, and games allow you to be an alternative version of yourself, and in Football Manager's instance, the best Football Manager in the world. But I've been there, on a losing streak, and you just can't get out of it. It sucks. In fact, if you get into Football Manager as much as I do, it can actually give you a really bad mood for the rest of the day. So how do we stop that? How do we create a more enjoyable experience? Well, during pre-season, I think it's perfectly reasonable to save and reload. For all those of you who can't really see a reasonable excuse, then please do let me explain. Pre-season is a time for testing and tweaking, experimenting with your team to hone your tactics to become a winning team for the season ahead. This is where a manager gets a feel for his squad, the returning players and the new recruits to the team. It's the time to experiment with new tactics and formations, or perhaps a chance to perfect your style from the previous campaign. Real managers get plenty of time to do this in training, in open friendlies, friendlies behind closed doors, all across summer. In Football Manager, this is actually very, very limited. My argument is that in FM, you don't have enough time to manage and tweak everything you want to in preparation for the full season. And when that season gets started and you're on a losing streak, well, that can just be the end of the game for you. I mean, for new players, that could genuinely put them off forever. So I'd like to encourage a new approach with an open mind to pre-season. Let me run you through a few scenarios. You're brand new to Football Manager, and opening it up, this is the most complicated thing you've ever seen in your life. Whilst there are tutorials in the game, they aren't the best, so if you're still left a little bit confused, even after delegating most things to your assistant manager to make life easier, it still feels like a minefield. Perhaps you've decided to play as the team you support. You know their strengths, their weaknesses, and how they should be set up. But you also could be playing as a brand new team you've never heard of before, and that can be a real struggle. In order for you to get to grips with the game, you've built a tactic and you play a pre-season friendly, and you get dominated 5-0. The season starts in 4 weeks, and you are panicking. Well, I would simply say to have a more enjoyable experience and to learn more about the game, simply just save and reload. Play that friendly again. You make a few tweaks and changes to your formation and maybe change a few personnel around, and next time you only lose 3-0. But you're making progress. You're learning more about the game. Now, of course, the best part of Football Manager is its complete randomness and difference in games. You could have built the perfect tactic, but still lose. So I'd actually actively encourage you to write down things that worked well in the game and things that didn't work well in the game. Perhaps you lost 2-0, but you noticed your team was pressing really well and won the ball quite high up the pitch quite often. That's a good sign. Doing this a few times across pre-season really gives you a much better knowledge of the game and makes it a lot more enjoyable as you tweak your tactics to perfect your style of football. Ultimately, you're having more fun, which is what Play the Game is all about. I know a lot of people like to download tactics and use them in their save file. After all, they wouldn't be available for download if they didn't work and were good. But it's not like the people who created them just happened to stumble across an overpowered tactic. They've studied the game and probably reloaded their save files quite a lot to get things absolutely perfect. Therefore, why can't you do the exact same thing? Saving and reloading in pre-season gives you plenty of time to experiment with new tactics and positions and roles of players that you've never wanted to try before in case it ruins your save. For example, I have never ever used a wide playmaker in Football Manager. It could well be the most overpowered position in the game with the right player, but I've never used it. I've been too scared to stray away from wingers, inverted wingers, and inside forwards. And it's the same with inverted wingbacks. They were used in tons of successful formations in FM22, but for me, I was too scared to use it because it just seemed illogical to me. But I guess the movement of the players and what they do just work really well in some formations. So I would actively encourage saving and reloading in pre-season to experiment with new roles. And sometimes players fit into positions you wouldn't have thought possible in the game. For example, Ben House is a striker at Lincoln City, but has been utilised on the wing and in centre midfield in real life. According to the One Football app, the sponsors of today's videos, 6 of his goals have come from his right foot. And his successful dribbles aren't actually that bad for a player that is predominantly a hold-up player. Based off this, I'd actually quite like to try him as an inside forward in Football Manager on that left wing, just to see how it would work. And you never know, he actually could be amazing there. You can get a whole range of stats from thousands of players on the One Football app, and you can download it for absolutely free from the top line of the description. Doing so really helps me and the channel out. Maybe you're a little bit more experienced at Football Manager though. You've won a few trophies and a few promotions against the odds. And now you're in the big leagues and need to have a few different tactical styles in order to succeed. A prime example of this would be the Scottish Premiership. You're against Celtic and Rangers, who are light years ahead of the rest of the league, and you'll need a really good counter-attacking formation to beat them. But you've also got Ross County in that division. I mean, I reckon even my local under-12 club could beat Ross County. So you're going to want to have a really attacking formation to go up against those weaker sides in the division. Pre-season allows you to develop both of those formations, and saving and reloading gives you plenty of time to practice them and utilise them to their full extent. Perhaps you can even stress test your formations in pre-season as well. An example of this would be starting your under-18s all out of position so you go 2-0 down within 20 minutes. Then you drag them all off and bring your actual players on to try and fight back from 2-0 down to see if your tactic can work from dragging you from the mud up to the glory. Training is a part of Football Manager that I frankly just do not touch. I don't understand it and I don't want to mess up my team for the entire season.
I don't understand it, bro!
And so rather than sacrificing my entire season just for the sake of learning training, what we could do is start pre-season with a complete training plan, go all the way through to the end of pre-season and look at the results. If they're less than desirable, then you're doing something wrong. Go back to the start of pre-season and plan a new system of training and see if that works any better. And if I could save and reload this video, I'd go all the way right back to the start to make sure I click the like button and subscribe to the channel. The point is, I think saving and reloading is a fantastic way to learn more about the game that we love, and ultimately have some more fun playing it as well. Maybe you don't agree with me, and of course that is absolutely fine. Maybe the fun for you is having a poor start to the season or a terrible season, trying to battle against that relegation, come back and fighting yourself to the title. Play the game how you want to play the game. I'll reiterate that point from right at the start. I'm not telling you how to play the game, I'm just offering up some suggestions to learn more and have some fun. And to be fair, I quite like thinking differently when I play Football Manager. I mean, I spend more time doing experiments than actually playing it. And seeing as there are currently a ton of rumours going around that Man City could be demoted all the way to non-league thanks to their financial fair play issues, I've got the right video for you. I swapped the National League teams with the Premier League teams, and we simulated into the future to find out what happens. That video is on screen for you right now.